Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are in the world. This is Howie, and I'm here to help you win with money. Happy New Year, everyone. Today is January 1st, 2022. In this particular video, we're going to do a recap of how much money we made or lost during the year 2021. On top of that, we're going to look at the trades that work and maybe go over why some of the trades that I put on did not work. I'm going to use that as a learning opportunity so I don't make the same mistake in this current year. So let's get to it. And before we go on, if you're on Facebook, join me in Investing 102. It's a Facebook group here. You see that? Facebook group, Investing 102. This is where you can level up your investment. I do post all my current transactions, and you will see the first transaction of the year is here, January 1, 2022. I already bought some new BTC. That's Bitcoin. That's my first transaction of the year. I do post it up live. These are a lot easier to do because videos take time to edit. Okay, so let's go straight into E-Trade. From here, we're going to do this custom date. We're going to apply it here. I'm going to go into my transaction log. I do this every week, so you've seen this before. I'm just going to sort it to make sure it's the right date. And I think it is. There you go. And I'm just going to pull this out. And I'm going to paste. Oops, sorry. Hang on one second. I'll do it right. Now let's switch to Excel. And we're just going to paste it over here. There you go. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to remove all those other stuff. And let's go grab some more transactions. And here you go. I got more transactions. I'm going to copy that. Go here. And then hit the paste button. And there you go. So now, with the magic of editing, I'm going to fix all this up. And this is what it looks like when I'm done. I was done with the green color series. So I'm now going back to the blues. And what I do is I just use a color series like this. And I just go up. So each week I use a different color. So here you go, week 52. And I can see how many trades I did. I number each trade. First thing I do is always go to the top. Hang on one second. I'll go to the top. I'm going to hit the save button. I slide over to my little pivot table once it's done saving. This is the pivot. And if I hit refresh, if everything works, there you go. And let's take a quick look at the numbers real quickly. Last week, week number 52, it says I made $900. So let me double check the numbers to make sure there was nothing wrong with this. Let me just make sure. For the month, I made 800. Okay, so I'll review this. It looks okay, but I'm going to go to my second pivot. Okay, now we're going to hit right mouse click, hit the refresh button. And there you go. So that's the updated numbers. I will double check this just to make sure everything looks fine. But it's showing that I did make a profit in December. But here's the bad news. I lost money in this quarter. I have not lost money in the quarter in multiple years. So I'm going to just make sure. I think it's right because I don't think anything was wrong. But let me double check the numbers. I definitely had a bad month in October. So let's go and fix everything. So I went and I updated this. My final trade number for the year is 1308. My average profit per trade is 1483. And what this is a weekly snapshot of what happened each week. And this is the week where I lost the most, right around here. You can see that. And then here I made a profit. And then I went down about 1,000, which is not bad here. You see that? Even though there's 3 weeks in a row of losses, you only lost 1,000 between this week and this week. So in 4 weeks, I lost 1,000. So the biggest hurt is right here between 42 and 43. Week number 42 and 43. And then I ended it up okay, but really not where I need to be. I took a big loss here also. So let's talk about this and let's summarize this. And if you take a quick look, I'm going to take this value here, all my options value for the year. I'm going to subtract it from the dividend value here. And it shows that I made about 12,000 and change in options trading. So really not a good year for me. This is actually about 50 to 60% lower than what I made even the previous year. So not only did I not make similar value last year, I actually was downtrending. And the reason why is really simple. If you look back here, so let's take a quick look at what went right and what went wrong. You see, this started really well, hit 15 grand, 16 grand right here in week 13, and then it slowed down a bit in the summer, and then I did really well right around here when I got up to 26,000 right here in October. And if I maintained that pace, I could have finished the year anywhere between 26 and 30,000. But you see, there was about 2 or 3 bad trades. I remember one of them was a $4,000 loss on an iron condor that went. It went actually was really bad. I think I experienced like a $500 loss per contract, and if I recall correctly, that one had a 13 or 14 contracts. So that was a big loss. And then there was a couple of smaller ones similar to that. I took $1,000, $2,000 off, and that's the pattern here. And you see that it went all the way back down. Am I happy with 19,000? It's okay. Like I said, a profit is a profit, and you can see this is not random luck. I did 1,300 trades for the year. And what it's telling you is it's not random luck. The math will play out that even if I do this year in and year out, I'm still going to make a profit. Now, I do want to learn stuff. I want to learn from my trading pattern. That's why I have pivots on tickers. I have tickers by time frame. I have pivot tables on my method. So I can always adjust my strategy to see which one went well and which one did not. So let's talk about some specific trades. First one I'm going to look at is Tesla. I put on a filter. You see this is the weekly moves in Tesla. First thing you notice is if you just do this, I made $100 in premiums in Tesla. But one of them that I want to talk about real simply is this one. On this day, I opened 2 contracts here. You see I collected $30, and then I literally closed it over here. So on the 30th, I closed it here, and if you hang on, I'm hitting the wrong key. You do this, and then here you closed it, and you'll see it. I made $22, literally 3 days. I put up $2,000 of buying power at risk, made $22. Really not bad for a week's work. And then I just duplicated that also. You see I did it over here. Now, if you zoom out, you'll see I have not been playing Tesla all year. If I scroll out a little bit, you see this week 52, 51, 50, and then 9. But if you look at the last 3 weeks, you can see I collected nearly $500 in profit just trading Teslas. And if you notice the pattern, I've been mostly trading puts. I've been doing put credit spreads, and this is a consistent trade for me. I don't know why I wasn't doing it all year. I should have just stuck to Tesla trades. I would have probably done really well. Next one is let's filter on Riot blockchain. I wanted to show you my moves for this week. Really the same strategy again. I'm just rolling it. This one I'm not rolling it down anymore. I just wanted to give myself some room in case it pops during the new year. But I am rolling it for more premium because I noticed that most of the premium that I collected, the contract decayed and there was very little left on it. So I had to roll it out for some more premium. You look at that, I collected $43 on these 2 cover calls. I have about $6,000, I think. I have 200 shares of Riot, roughly about $6,000 of capital, but I am collecting $43 on this. And these I normally roll weekly, so you can see it. There's always a play on it. You can see this one here, and if you scroll, let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, and let's do one thing. You see this? I bought 100 shares here, so that was recent. But in order not to look at this, let's just only look at the options, so you can sort of see the value. Because if you don't do that, it's going to skew the data. So look, I'll show you real quickly what I mean. If you look at this, I collected $100 in premiums in the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, then the last 4 weeks. You see that is $170, and then the last 5 weeks, and the most interesting thing to notice is I only added the 100 shares recently. to make it 200 shares. So really, I was only having 100 shares of cover calls, and then however else I play it. But if you just scroll this up, you'll see how much money I made in Riot throughout the year. And I'll just show you what I mean. You see that? This puts me at nearly $6,000 in Riot. And because that's a trade that's been working all year, I'm going to continue playing Riot going into 2022. I think Bitcoin will become more volatile. I don't think it will be less volatile. You would think that it has a history of being super volatile over the last 8 years or so. It should smooth out with some institutional investors, but I still think there's going to be a lot of volatility. But with that being said, there's volatility is good. If you bet on the right side of it, you can make money or you can play it. So that's what I'm hoping for, collect more premiums. I'm still playing cover calls now. I'm playing some cash secure puts or some credit spreads on the other side. So let's see how that plays out in the new year. Let's take a quick look at EA. You'll see I've been playing it not every week, but you can see that I do collect dividends now. So let's remove the dividends. These are cover calls. You can see that. And again, small play. I'm collecting 30, 40 bucks premium. And if you scroll up for the last, let's just scroll up a little bit more. Let's go up to here, $900. And scroll up a little bit more, and you'll see that it's about $1,000 is what I collected in cover call premiums for EA. And some of it is because EA moves up and down. So sometimes I'm rolling up, and sometimes I'm rolling back down. Sometimes I'm rolling back up and then back down. And you see the price. So I believe my cost base is like in the 120s. I don't remember exactly, but the premiums are not bad. And remember, I'm not even factoring dividends. So let's do the reverse. Let's look at how much dividends I collected in EA. And you'll see that it's not a lot of dividends. It's 20, whatever it is. And then you see, if you just do it like this, you'll see it. The weird thing is you can't look at because they offset each other. So you have to look at it like this. So I collected $100, which is not a lot. $100 divided by 13,000, it's really small. So you're not buying EA for the dividend yield, okay? I want you guys to understand that. I'm not buying EA for the dividend. I'm buying it because I like video game stock. So what's nice is it shows you that even collecting small premiums over the course of the year, $1,000 in premiums is quite a bit of money to collect on EA. So that's a lot of money. Remember, we're talking about a $13,000 holding. And if you did nothing all year, and if the stock didn't move all year, you made no money. But by collecting $1,000 in premium, you can make a 7 or 8 or 10 or 12. In this one, I got maybe a 7% yield. It sounds like $1,000 for for $12,000 capital. And then, like I said, I do collect dividends. I'm writing cover calls on it, and I'm hoping that EA will eventually move to 150, 160, 170. But it's been very volatile. It goes up, then it drops because of the bad news with Activision stuff, and the whole sector sort of moved down, and then EA eventually bounced back up a little bit. So I'm still gonna play it. I like the video game industry. Let's look at the next holding. Let's look at another stock. I add a filter on Skechers. Skechers is obviously not as popular as Nike, but I do have 100 shares. I write a cover call on it, and you see again, you're collecting small premiums. And if I just scroll up real quick, I collected, let's just scroll up a little bit more. So you'll see this at the beginning of the year, which is right here. It's $832 all year. So if you do some quick math, 832, I think the share price is about 46. So we'll just do that real quick. You'll see this. So effectively, your cover calls is making me about 18% yield off of my capital. So if the stock doesn't move, you can still make money off of the cover call. And this is why some people like using cover calls. If the stock doesn't move, you're okay. You still make money. If the stock moves, and if your shares get assigned or you have to give it up, people are happy with that. You can make money in flat markets or down markets or even markets that don't move up as much. And for investors who have a target, you can sort of plan it around what your target return rate is. And I'll give you a really quick example. Those of you who watch my videos know I really only shoot for about a 7% rate of return, even though I know I can probably make closer to 8 or 9% investing in the S&P 500. So the benchmark is set at about 9 or 10% per year. My goal is I only need 7 to be comfortable in retirement, but yet I'm using this particular strategy because I feel like it hedges against markets where it doesn't move. If markets go flat or down, I need to use a option strategy to make money on these shares that do nothing. There are times where shares don't move for 5 years, and there are times where that's not acceptable, right? If you're retired and you're living off of your portfolio, and if your shares haven't moved, the worst thing to do is liquidate shares that haven't moved and haven't made money, and then you got to liquidate it at a bad time. So by using an options trading strategy, I'm hoping that I can reduce that type of risk. If the shares move up, that's wonderful because I can always roll out my covered call. If it doesn't move up, like I said, I'm collecting premiums to add to my portfolio. So let's look at another trade. Here is Bright House Financial, and you can see if I look at the year, if I just do this, you see that I made no money. So I'm using a covered call. I made no money here. But let me try to explain what happened. During this time, you see I had a strike price of $40, and initially I rolled it up here from a 40 to 45, and you see I lost money on it. So it cost me $21 to move it up, so I had a value of 500. Then I had to do it again, and you see I lost money here. So it cost me $100 to move it from 45 to 50. So between this window and this window, it cost me $130. But I moved it up literally $1,000 in my favor. Now, during the year, Bright House Financial stock went down, and you see this is why I end up rolling it down for some premium. And then somehow I believe it started running back up, and it caught me off guard. And this is why I lost money doing it again, and then I have to roll it up and out again. So in the end, if you look at the net, I lost money, but I did move this from 40 to 55. So I added 1,500 of potential value, and I'll show you what the stock is trading at today. Let's go to the trusty Yahoo, type in Bright House Financial ticker symbol, and you'll see that. So as long as it stays above 50, I think I'm okay, because remember, I'm protected all the way up to 55, and I'll show you the year-to-date chart. You see this? So it was under, then it moved up, then it was 50, and then you see what I mean? It went as high as 55, and this is the reason why I needed to move it up, because I was leaving money on the table. So by pushing it out a little bit in time, you see the fluctuation. It actually has a $5 price swing here. So for me, it made sense to move it up, and maybe even at 55, I don't need to roll it up anymore. Maybe I'm happy with selling it at 55. I made money on the ride up. I do collect, like I said, I didn't collect a lot of premium, but I was able to keep the strike price near the market price. So I'm happy about that. Not a lot of money made on this one. Really, the money is made on the underlying moving up. Okay, let's talk about Visa real quickly. Visa is a very interesting one. I have a love-hate relationship with Visa. And the reason why is I really like the stock. I think it's a really great business to own. And if you follow Visa, Visa is not like a bank. It's more like a Warren Buffett toll bridge type company with a really wide moat, hard to compete against, recession proof. They don't lend money out. They collect whatever it is, a fraction. It's like 2% on some transaction fees. So it's a great business to own. But I have a love-hate relationship with it because in these iron condors, you see, when I'm right, you make money. When you're not right, you lose money. And I'll show you what I mean. As I scroll up, you can see that some of these Visa stuff, I make money, then I lose money. I make money, then I lose money. And here you go. If I go back up about 10 weeks, look, I made almost nothing. $190 of trading 10 weeks of Visa is nothing. And if you keep on scrolling back more, over here, you see I'm up only 400, Then if you scroll back even further, you'll see. And I'll show you what I mean. Times where Visa's predictable and does what I expect, it makes me a decent amount of premium. Times where Visa then moves in unpredictable ways, and you see that, look, as I'm going further back in time, you see it sort of bounces between negative and positive returns, which is really not a good thing, which is telling you that I'm having a hard time predicting Visa moves. Visa really doesn't move in a way that's easy to predict, and it's really testing my iron condors. And I'll show you the stock chart for this one so you'll understand where, or maybe even why I'm having a hard time with this. So Visa is now at 216, but look at the range. It's between 190 and 252. If you look at the 1 year chart, you see this. It took a huge down, then a huge up, then down, up, down, up, down, up. And in your iron condors, right, it hit a peaked out at right here, 250 or so. And then look, it's downtrends. And this can cause you to lose money. So I can lose money on the upside, I can lose money on the downside, especially when it does huge moves. And then look at that. It went all the way down to about $190 before it swooped right back up. So this is great if you're always on the right side of the trade. If you're calling it right, options will be great for Visa. If you're not calling it right, it's not so hard. Now, I like Visa because generally speaking, if I'm using a simple, like an iron condor strategy, if it trades within the expected move of Visa, then I'll make money. But as you can see, it's when these sharp moves happen is when I lose money. Will I learn my lesson and maybe move on to something a little bit more stable? I don't know. I may keep on playing it. It's like a Tesla, right? There's some juicy premiums that you can collect and make good money from this. So I want to end it on this chart again. I created a weekly video for most of the weeks. There was a period between, I think right here, I did not create a video. There was maybe a 3 or 4 or 5 week window where I did not create video. So for the most part, I create a weekly video each week, summarizing my trades, showing you how I put it in my spreadsheet, my tracker, and you can see that this is not random luck. These trades are not random. I'm doing it throughout the year. Again, I ended this year at 1,300 trades. For the most part, I'm not looking for big winners. I'm trying to go for a $20, $30 pop. This average, remember, when you factor in all the losses, I had a $5,000 loss on a trade. I have a couple $1,000 losses. So this average is telling you, sure, I'm making about $14 on average. But when you add in the negative trades, that means I'm really making about $20 per trade profit. And again, I talked about this earlier in the video, had a hard time in here. But really, I'm disappointed because while I made profit, it wasn't as much as what I expected. I really did expect to finish out the year making about $15,000 to $20,000 in options trading. I didn't do that. Remember, this number here is with the $6,000 in premiums for the dividends. So I subtract that out and I can see how much money I made. So what I learned for this year is I really need to spot my losses earlier. A lot of traders talk about using stop losses, and I do really need to do something similar. I need to look at it before it goes right around the 2x loss. I need to start closing them out between the 2x to 3x loss. Really, if I can prevent most of those before they hit 4x or 5x, because remember, I'm doing 10 wide. I'm putting up $10,000 in if I do 10 contracts, but I'm putting up $1,000. So when you experience a 5x loss, right, that's $500. That's a lot of money. I need to stop it way before then. I need to keep an eye on things once around 2x to 3x and then start closing them and then put in new trades. Because even if you stick to the mechanical trading system, generally speaking, if markets are not just going like up 1,000 points, down 1,000 points, you should be okay. Now, so for 2022, I'm just going to do some minor tweaks, really stick to the same plan that I've been using for the last couple of years. I've been quite happy with my options trading. Like I said, every year I make at least 10 grand, and I have so for many, many years. Again, this is not a bad year. I mean, it was $12,000 profit, which is not great, but I don't have a loss. So I do want to fix some of those trading up, tighten it up, stick to more mechanical, remove the emotions from it, and really stick to that, and I should do much better. I think next year will be, again, it should be back to what my normal range is, which is $15,000 profit. So stick with me, follow me. Hey, comment below. Let me know how your trading year went in 2021, and also what did you learn that you're going to do different for the year 2022. With that being said, I really appreciate it. I'm going to come up with a new challenge. I did not hit my 1,500 trades per year, so that was a big letdown for me. I was on track early in the year, but my trades fell through, and I just couldn't hit the $1,500. But I want to do a new challenge starting in 2022. I'm going to do something a little bit different, maybe cater towards some more beginner traders, trading maybe like the SPYs and how to do it, and I'll show some videos on how I would structure it. But with that being said, hey, thank you guys so much for following me all year on this 1,500 trade challenge for 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed the ride as much as I did. And again, I'm fully transparent. Don't always make money in trades. Really hard to talk about my losses during the year. But again, this is the beauty of YouTube videos. You see everything. You see the good, the bad, and the ugly. Again, all these transactions come from my E-Trade brokerage account. Paste it in. I do a pivot table. You see everything. So hey guys, I really love you. Thank you for supporting me. And as always, let's do this together. Let's do this $1 at a time. And let's have a profitable year in 2022. Bye-bye.